From Oklahoma's most watched television station, Eyewitness News 5 at 10 starts right now.
And right now at 10, a tornado outbreak in Oklahoma. Our crews are leading the coverage for you. We showed you this tornado live as it touched down. And that wasn't the only one. It has been a busy night of storm coverage, and the threat isn't over yet.
So we need to get over to Chief Meteorologist Rick Mitchell for an update. Rick?
We are in a temporary lull, guys, so I want to show you some of the video that Chris Lee captured. We showed this live. This was near Cherokee in Alfalfa County as the storm that is currently approaching Wichita. That's how long it's been alive and is still alive. But that was one of the several tornadoes that storm system produced back to the west when it was crossing into portions of western Major County. This is near Bouse Junction as it made its way from the Woodward area or Woodward County area on into far western Major County. Moving to the northeast, this storm ended up producing several tornadoes. They would be on the ground for 3 or 4 minutes. Then even as this one, you watch it, you can kind of see it weaken. Thankfully, it stayed out over mainly rural areas. We did have reports of it bringing down some power poles and some power lines, and at times we could actually see the debris being kicked up, a lot of dust from that particular storm system as it moved across the state. There you see kind of the bottom of it dissipating, but it is still in contact with the ground. And again, this was a day where you had the likelihood of seeing some of these tornadoes, and this is where it was across northern sections of Oklahoma. Now, I'd like to take you on a radar view here, show you what's been happening as we go through time. Notice how we're basically free of any thunderstorms in the state. You see this storm way up here? That is the storm that produced all those tornadoes I just showed you. This is Wichita. This supercell is coming into Wichita. It is still producing tornadoes, and they are the ones that are under the gun right now. That is moving off to the north and east, not affecting Oklahoma. I'll tell you what is going to affect Oklahoma. Look at this. We've got a line of thunderstorms to the west, down in Lubbock. We're going to see this line continue to build to the north and move to the east. That is going to be our thunderstorm maker overnight. There still is a high risk of severe weather from north central Oklahoma on into Nebraska. To the west of that, it is a moderate risk. What I expect to happen is for these thunderstorms to develop, the main threat will be wind associated with these storms. We could see winds of 70 to 80 miles per hour. This will be a timeline. The thunderstorms are going to develop on a dry line that will eventually be captured by a cold front. So from 11 till midnight, western Oklahoma, 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. coming into the Oklahoma City metro area. 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. shifting east of I-35, and then after 6 a.m. deeper into eastern Oklahoma. Again, the main threat is going to be very strong winds, a high-end wind event. Some of these winds can produce gusts as high as a weak tornado. We'll even have still the isolated tornado threat as well. But guys, for right now, things are quiet, but we're going to see things heating up to the west. Paul, Jessica?
Okay, Rick, and tonight we have multiple storm crews out.
KOCO's Katie Blakey is in the town of Cherokee, where, Katie, you saw a tornado hit not far from there tonight.
That's right, not just one tornado, but two, Jessica. We want to kind of give you the scene here in Cherokee. The lights are all out, except for the lights of our truck. This town is completely dark. So they're without power now and kind of worried about what could happen here in the next few hours. As far as injuries or damage associated with those tornadoes, from what we are being told here, no one seriously hurt in those tornadoes. It looked like most of that went through some rural farmland and just missed the town of Cherokee. But looking at the video that we shot earlier today, this tornado kind of developed right over a wheat field, and we watch it grow from a small funnel to a very large funnel in just a few minutes as it went moving northwest, or rather northeast, across the town and across the plains and just north of the town of Cherokee. And we followed that tornado all the way into the Kansas line, right there at the Kansas line as the sun began to set and it got dark. And that's, of course, as Rick has been saying, the most dangerous time when those tornadoes hit and you can't see them at night. But the most incredible thing about that storm was that it formed two tornadoes, and at times both tornadoes came down, went back up, and came down again. And I want to bring in Chris Lee because, of course, he has been chasing for years here in Oklahoma. And Chris, tell me what you thought about that when you were seeing that.
Well, of course, you're always worried that it's headed for a town, and we weren't sure whether it was going north of Cherokee. A very unusual event, but we knew it was going to be a high-end event when we started, and that there would be a lot of rotating storms, and the storms would put down long track tornadoes. So it kind of verified what we thought it might be.
You know, that video was just incredible, and talking to people here in town, they couldn't believe it. Of course, many people not heeding the advice to get in their storm shelters and instead watching those two tornadoes kind of move across the plains there. I can tell you that we did see a lot of power lines down as we were making our way back into town. We were hearing of people going around checking on homes and properties that are in those outlying areas. So far, we've heard of nothing significant, just some trees down, power lines, and maybe some damage to a few outbuildings. But of course, as the sun comes up tomorrow, they'll really get an idea of the path of those two tornadoes. Back to you.
Okay, Katie, thank you. We are also tracking damage in Alva tonight. The storm blew through, and OG&E says people there are without power. 3 substations were damaged by a tornado in the winds. Power lines were also knocked down. About 800 people are without electricity.